Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will take a closer look on the Mage Immortal expertise. Once again, this time I got it to level 6, so now we can test it and showcase it properly. Last time I made this kind of video, it was to, what I think about it without having a proper test. But today I have a proper test as well, and I will show you guys in this video. And also we will be looking at some of the other skills as well and give you my opinion about them after testing them extensively so we can actually be more accurate than the last time. So yeah, let's take a look at the video. Now let's take a look at the skill description before we go any further into this video for those who doesn't know about the mage skills and how they work. The first one is Dark Energy. Increases the damage dealt by your ultimate skills by 30% at level 1 after entering the battle. Very good skill in my opinion. That's one I currently use. Soul Burst increase your crit rate by 7.5% and magical damage by 9% after entering the battle. When they're maxed, the crit rate will be 25% and the magical damage will be 30%. And when I started on my Himiko, I used Soul Burst first because I didn't have crit rate on my artifact, and yeah, it did really well for me. And Dark Flame, every 9 seconds after the battle starts, there is a 70% chance of dealing magical damage by 90% at level 1 and 300% at level 8 to all enemies. I tried them all, and I tried them briefly for like 3 to 4 days each of these skills minimum. And I find that Dark Flame, which the reason why I didn't put anything on the Dark Flame like with skills and immortals is because Dark Flame basically works out for everyone, right? Dark Flame is generally a decent skill. If you need some extra damage, it's gonna give you extra damage, right? But in my opinion, it works best at level 8 or 7 or 8, in my opinion, because I tried at level 4 and 5 with my Himiko. I feel like it didn't do enough damage. It was like an extra 4 to 6 million each time, and in my opinion, that is not enough for a Mage Carry. So yeah, that's why I didn't put anything there. As for number 2, Soul Burst, the reason why I put the skills there is because, in my opinion, if you want to use trigger skills, you should be using Soul Burst. Soul Burst with the trigger skills, in my opinion, is the best one. And if you plan to use, for example, the Infinite Firepower, Annihilation, Armageddon, Soul Burst is definitely the way to go. Usually, I will use Soul Burst after testing it, a lot. I will probably use it as my second mage in another team, because when you are on a main team, I think you should be using Dark Energy. That's why I put all the immortals right there on the first one, because Dark Energy basically fits with every single immortals or every single mages in the game, except in my opinion, I think Cleopatra would be better out with Soul Burst solely because of the crit rate and the trigger skills that she doesn't rely much on the power, and she has the magical debuff, which in my opinion is very good to use as for Soul Burst. But for Dark Energy, if you want to go for that, that's what I want to recommend you guys with the mages, especially with the mage carries. And I'm going to show you guys some damage later on what I mean about it, because the ultimate skill damage increase is very overpowered, especially for Baldwin, especially for Himiko, especially for Merlin. These kind of mages where hit everybody and do a lot of damages. That itself, it should be self-explainable, especially when it comes to mages, that I don't think the trigger skills would do anything different, except Infinite Firepower, right? The legendary skill will do the difference, but the other epic skills, the golden skills, I think they won't benefit you a lot, right? Or if you want to use the trigger skills, you can definitely go with Soul Burst, and then you will have to use, in my opinion, Battle Stance or Demonic Contract with one of the trigger skills in order for you to maximize the damage. Other than that, I don't think you should be using Soul Burst or Dark Flame solely because the ultimate skill of your mage won't do enough damage. Because if you can increase your ultimate damage of your mage carry easily 50, 60, 70%, that's massive for the for your mage, and especially if you do like infinite firepower to get extra damage as well, that can be very, very good. If you can't use infinite firepower, I would just recommend you guys Annihilation, Spell Disintegrator, and possibly Concentration to get an extra damage up, right? And then I would use Soul Burst as well, because getting them crit rate for your trigger skills, in my opinion, is very, very good, instead of having like focusing on dark energy. Because if you're gonna focus on dark energy, in my opinion, the best skill set that you can have right now is infinite firepower to help get extra damage, but it also helps gain extra energy regen percentage, and that is very important. Also, you want to use Battle Stance, you want to use the third skill. This is can vary, right? Some people use Psionic Tide, some people use Demonic Contract, some people use Corrosive Power, right? In my opinion, Corrosive Power, Battle Stance, Infinite Firepower is the best combo for any mage with, the dark energy expertise, in my opinion, right? So that is the best one. That's what I'm working for, and I've seen in action, and I'm gonna show you guys real soon. So now let's go take a look in the game and see some reports about the Mage Carry and expertise. Here I'm fighting Arisen, very strong player, and the game being RNG, sometimes I'm gonna win, sometimes I'm gonna lose. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I mean, like the expertise. So I don't mean anything bad about Arisen. He's a strong player. He has Chaos, he has Athena, Loki combo, which in my opinion is very good as well. So here, somehow I managed to kind of stomp him, and let's see on the report. Here I did 93 million, and the skill I used here is the Corrosive Power, Psionic Tide, and Battle Stance. I use these skills due to I don't have Infinite Firepower ready, but I'm working on it, so it will come here. But if you look at the specializations, I'm having my skill level 6 is 80% more damage, and you can see the reason why I put it like this, because I want to play around the ultimate skill, and the ultimate skill already giving out 450% damage, and that plus 100% damage here, and also energy regen speed. In my opinion, that's very important. Also plus 15% damage, also plus 60% ultimate skill damage. So now we're adding up like 200%, right? 300%. I think that is very good, especially if you have like a double tank combo here, so you can sustain a little bit longer. The first 20 seconds will be a little difficult because of the battle stance skills. So once you get them popping together and start, actually do something, I think this could be very, very good, right? And the Dark Energy, in my opinion, is the best Mage Carry specialization by far. And if you have it at level 8 on any Mage Immortals, in my opinion, it's super, super way better than the other skills like Soul Burst and Dark Flame. And you can see here, like another report here, I did 70 million in 1 minute, right? It's pretty good. If you can crit as well, keep in mind, if you have crit artifact like this, right? The most important one is the crit rate. The passive, the Annihilation or the Deadly with the extra magical damage, doesn't really matter in my opinion. Is as good. Both of them are good. But if you have deadly with crit rate, still very good. Don't worry about that. You don't have to think too much if you have annihilation. You want annihilation or deadly, right? Both of them very good, good in their own way. And I did a lot of damage. You see sometimes. Let's see when I lose right here, right? Sometimes it can be, even if I lose, I still do a lot of damage because of the ultimate. 40 million when you lose is very good, although his Mage is very, very strong. Like this is Mosa, a whale Mage. I couldn't do anything against it. Very, very strong Mage, very good player. And you can see here, I still did a lot. And let's see, Arisen again. I did 80 million. In my opinion, you should always be going that skill for Mage Carry. So let's take a look at some more reports right here. You can see here I tried, on one of the biggest players in the game. I just try it out and see how it goes. I couldn't do anything. You can see here in 1 minute I didn't do anything, no damage at all. So sometimes to be like that, right? So you have to focus, like you have to choose what you want to do. So let's do some other reports to see maybe it's more, I would say not this one. Here, for example, here is more likely, yeah. Here, I think this is a fluke because most of the time that Mage will always beat me, right? Here again, 70 million. So when you have specialization at level 6, I would say above 5 to 8, right? You will average, with the same setup, you will average everything between 60 to 90 million. Everything between that, then that should be normal. But if you do a little bit less, like let's say 40, 50 million, and you still win the match, I think that's very good. But if you lose the match, Himiko specialization will perform very well there as well. So yeah, so that's basically about the reports. Let's take a look at the conclusion of what I think about the Mage specializations. So these are the conclusions I wrote back then, and I still stand by the same today because, as I explained during the video, I think the Dark Energy the best one, but it works best if you have the artifact with crit rate because it's gonna add you extra damage. I feel like if you have like the magical attack percentage, right, the normal one, I think it won't do as much damage because the crit is the major factor in this game. If you manage to crit, you can double the damage from what you normally get. And I feel like if you do that, the Dark Energy will be way, way better than the rest. But if you are in the early stage of making or maxing out or leveling up the Mage specializations, Soul Burst might be a better choice for you, especially up to level 3, level 4. I think that is very good if you want to go with the route of using a lot of the trigger skills. Soul Burst is going to help you way more. For example, like I said during the video, annihilation skill, like triggering skills, Soul Burst is going to be better choice, especially up to level 4 when you get 15% extra crit rate and you get like, I think it was like 20% or it was like 15, 17% more magical damage. I think that's going to be very good for early Mage specialization levels. As for Dark Flame, I write this on all of my specialization videos. Usually if you pick the third options, you should be having at least level 5 and above, right? At least, in my opinion, because before that the percentage is very low. Even though it's at 90, 120, 150, 180%, is not enough damage. Also, it every 9 seconds, right? Although the chances, 70% chances is pretty high, one of the highest among like the triggering skill stuff, right? In my opinion, every 9 seconds is not enough. If it was every 6 or every 3 seconds, I think I would go for Dark Frame, and it would have been more relevant for our gameplay. But I think Dark Flame is definitely not something you should be choosing, especially in the early levels. Maybe if you want to try, go on like try with level 5, 6, and 7, and 8. That's when you want to try it out. But before that, I would say if you are in the early stage, and you don't have, for example, infinite firepower, you don't have corrosive power and these kind of skills, I would definitely go for Soul Burst until level 4. And then when you go to level 3, level 4, I would start switching to Dark Energy to get the extra, the damage from the Mage Carry ultimate. So yeah, that's basically my conclusion and my basic information about Mage Carry specialization. After I've been trying out for a while, I got to know a lot more about it. Like I said during the beginning of the video, before I had like a similar video before. It were basically more of like a theory and speculations about how the best skills, or how the skills and specialization are gonna be. Now I have more data, I have more testing. I've been fighting for like a month now, and it's about time I make like another video about this kind of stuff, because I think with a lot, a lot more testing and a lot more understanding about these skills, it's better to give out the information about that, right? So yeah, thanks you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.